Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and this reading is for our Thursday, September 22nd. Oh, I'm sorry, not Thursday, Tuesday. Okay, two more. Okay, and I wanted to give a shout out to Touched by Tarot. She has a YouTube channel. Her name's Lana. She does beautiful readings. I love her readings. And then if you're into political readings, Swansea Slice of Tarot is excellent. She just does little short ones. She does paranormal readings too when she gets bored with political readings. But anyway, I'm going to put links. I have links. I have been having links, and I keep forgetting to give voice to the two channels, but the links are in my description area of most of my videos recently. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so what we have for the day. So for the theme going on for the day, we have the Two of Pentacles, and that's the overlay for the entire day, and it has to do with juggling, but it also has to do with negotiations. Because we're in the realm of Pentacles, it has everything to do with money, finances, work, health, anything that is a resource, any type of a resource. So besides the, the juggling, the possible juggling that might happen, it can be where there's a lot of communication. There's a balancing out. You could look at this as being partly the law of mutuality, which is definitely the way I see the Temperance card. And the law of mutuality just gives power to the fact that it takes two yes currents coming together, like you saying yes and another person saying yes, or your organization saying yes and another organization saying yes. And when those two forces come together, when two yeses come together, then it creates, it's like when when you get married or you commit to a relationship, and marriage of course is an even deeper commitment. But whenever we marry into, when we align with another entity, whether it's an organization or a person, a group or a person, when we come together like that, there's a third entity that's created, and it holds space for the two of you, or for the two forces that are joined together. So I'm speaking to both of these cards together. But this one speaks to so much as having the need to keep yourself balanced enough so that you know which one to say yes to and where to say no to. Which is, that's interesting. Because it has to do with time management and prioritizing. So we always have to be careful to not overextend ourselves. But with the Temperance card here, and especially because these are both upright, there's, we don't have any reversals except for this one, and that's not bad. I don't see that card as bad either. I don't see any of them as bad, actually. So, but we do have three major arcanas here, and the majors are gateways into a new realm of consciousness, into a level of maturing. And not that like the World card would be any more mature than the Magician. It's just in going into like the manifestation and the managing of our lives type of energy is what I'm speaking to. So managing you can't manage your priorities until you know what they are. And it takes a lot of patience and going inside and weighing all the options. You could look at one of these as being a no current, and this could be a yes current, and you're trying to decide. You can also look at it as being, just the dualities of life, like the yin and the yang, and the, morning and evening, day and night, things like that. The dualities of life, really, it's not that we are in a dualistic, experience here on Earth, where it seems like it's good or bad, and things are right or wrong, and there's pleasure or pain, but it's actually and. If we just always remember to put the word and, like, yeah, things are painful sometimes, but and things are also beautiful, and the pain always leads to the beauty and the pleasure and the transformation. So there's never any need to resist. There's no reason to resist anything that comes up. There's not anything inside any one of us that can't be transformed if we want to. And that's where I'm speaking to the death rebirth card reversed. Because straight up, there's a big, big, big change. And you can see the vastness of, the sky and the universe here. And it's nothing to be afraid of, because it's just a big change. It's, there's an ending, but there's also a beginning. And there's, I don't honestly believe that there's ever a beginning and an end. It's just a complete, change, transformation of energy and consciousness as we go. Because we never completely die. I mean, we don't die. We just, change. We change. We just change. That's what this card is all about. Just big, big changes. Transitions into new realms. But now when it's reversed, there's some resistance going on. And I get the feeling that the resistance has to do with not being sure what you want to join with. So with the Temperance card here, I would say that our guidance for this day has to do with go for what is peaceful, go for what brings more grace and ease into your life. There's no need to resist the change at all, ever. And we can move on. We just have to decide what forces we want to join with. But I mean, these two, this is really, really kind of not funny, haha, but interesting in that these two cards are diametrically opposed. So the day could start out with like, oh, I don't want to do this, darn it, I don't want to have to do this. Like maybe you're moving house or something. I mean, it's an awful thing to have to go through. But, I'm one of those weirdos that has moved like 25 times, I think I counted up once. See, the 20, I think moving into this place was probably the 25th time, 24th or 25th time. So I'm a pro at it, but I don't want to do it. Every time I've done it, you always want to get into the new place though, but it's just going through it is so darn hard. So it could be something as simple as that, and not, that's no big deal. But if it's a pattern on the inner level that you're resisting changing, just know that your higher self can guide you through it, and that if you can honor your physical need for balance in your life, just as much as you want any other type of balance in your life, to take care of your body, that everything can work out and you can get moving quickly in that direction that you want to go. Because this card is all about movement. This was like, I don't want to move, and this one is, oh, well, we're going, If it's a road trip, maybe you don't want to go on, but you have to go. Maybe it's that in the morning, at the start of the day. But you're organizing and you're being patient with the people that you're with. You're being tolerant. And then, juggling all of that, that's the theme for the day. Now with the Six of Pentacles in here, this is, I love this card. It's, that's the card of giving and receiving. Knowing that when you are giving, you're also receiving, and vice versa. that there's really no difference between the giving and receiving. It's a card of, charity and generosity. It's really beautiful. It's also a card of, sharing your wealth and your prosperity, of course, but just sharing your generous spirit at the very least. But this may very well be a day where you have someone that you do want to share your wealth with, or vice versa. This could be this coming to you. And then closing up the day and the evening with the Chariot. If you're on a road trip, or if it's a travel situation, could be that you get there quicker than you thought you would. Because this is, fast moving. Now, if it's not traveling, because many of us are not, I'm sure as heck not getting on a plane. I don't know when I might ever get on a plane again, honestly. Anyhow, but road trips can be fun, of course. So anyway, if it's not travel, on the inner levels, this card has to do with aligning your will with your inner will, so that you're not coming just from your head. Because if you're coming just from your head, then you're in that dualistic place of those either ors I was talking about, winning or losing, life versus death, all that kind of thing, right versus wrong, rather than going in the middle way and knowing it's life is good and sometimes it feels bad. The people can be right and sometimes they can be wrong, and we can love them anyway. All of those dualities. But to remember that deep inside of who you are, you're not separate from anything, and you're not separate from any place that anyone that you want to connect in with. And you have the universe inside of you, and you can go in the direction you want. And that's always the right way, is to get in touch with your inner will that creates from peace, that creates from ease. Because if we're coming from just our head and our outer will and our ego, which we need an ego. If anyone thinks that our task is to get rid of our ego, it's just a little misunderstanding. Because if we didn't have an ego, we would not be able to say our name, make any plans, balance our checkbooks. We wouldn't, your mental faculties would not be intact. So, even babies bring in their ego to develop. So it's about ego development, and then transcending the ego to the place where it's aligned with your higher self. Your ego is in alignment with your higher self. Therefore, you can be patient and you can wait. You don't need to have something happen right now in order to be happy. You can be patient. You can wait. You can be charitable. And when you're moving forward in life that way, it's much bigger. There's so much more, empathy and compassion that can come through. Life can be funny. There's so much more joy and clarity and vision, even, to go in the right direction. Because if you're not coming from a forcing current that says it has to be this way in order for me to be happy, then life can be both. You can have those forces where on Earth you're not having a dualistic experience like most people have. Because when you're in the unity of your inner being, you're going to naturally flow in the right direction. The things might not go the way that you always want, but then it's like, oh well, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, I could die. Well, okay, yeah, you could die. We could die. I could die. I could die. On Earth, but who we are in spirit never dies. We always live on. So, I guess we could intend to have it be a very peaceful, graceful, easy way of leaving, right? That would be the key. But while we're here in this physical vehicle, literal vehicle, we have our power. We've got the symbolism here of the horses and their power. And the guidance with the Chariot card is always to get going in that right middle way, to where you're not pulled in either direction, of manipulating any type of reality to make it just be like my will, my way or the highway, right? If we're going to get into those realms, it's going to be very rigid and very tight. It's not going to be flowing freely, and you're not going to be supported by the universe because you're coming from, just the ego. So you can set the ego aside. And what I like to do with my ego is give it a job. If I give it something to do, then it's happier, usually. And then other times you just have to go, okay, well, thanks for sharing. Like Louise Hay would always say, I'll put that in the thank you for sharing file and let it go. But yeah, so it's just moving forward from a centered place to be literally in your center. This is a major victory card when you can do that, when you can align and move forward in your positive assertion, your positive self, you could say self-will, but higher self-will, when it's aligned with all the love in the universe, and you're moving forward in a graceful, easy way that's very tolerant of others. And yeah, it's challenging sometimes to balance that out on the earthly planes. But again, if you're being generous, and moving forward that way, you will have major victories in your life because you're in alignment with that. And victory is one of the key words with the Chariot card. So that's really beautiful. That's a wonderful way to end the day. And then you once you've done that enough, you get into that place where you're just determined to stay in your integrity. And then life becomes even more and more beautiful, more and more aligned with the forces of love, which are, they're abundant. It puts you in that place of the abundance of the universe, and you're surprised every day. You're surprised by the love in your life. So nice little everyday surprises. So, okay, well, that's it. I'm going to close this up. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll be back later. Thank you. Bye.